Good afternoon. It's an honor to be with you guys today. This is an amazing conference. We've heard a lot of the men stand up and talk about men going through hard things to do the right thing, right? There's someone today, before I get started, there's two people actually I want us to say thanks to. The first is a good friend of mine who just has handed off the reins of CEO to Promise Keepers to Shane, Ken Harrison. Some of you know Ken. I've been honored to be a friend of Ken for 6-7 years, really since almost the time he picked up the Promise Keepers mantle. And the story's in his book. If you haven't read it, I'd encourage you to. It's called The Rise of the Servant Kings. It's fantastic. Long story short, Promise Keepers, as you know, many of you had gone to previous ones. Your fathers had, changed the lives of millions of people across the country, around the world. Falls into the doldrums for a lot of reasons I won't get into. And Ken picks it up. And if it wasn't for him, none of us would be in this building today. And I'm not going to share his story because it's his story, but I've had a front row seat, and it hasn't been easy for him. And to pick up a ministry in the times that we're in, to enable all of us to be here today as men, to worship Jesus Christ and to lean into what God's calling us to, I'd like us all to just take a minute to say thank you to Ken Harrison. Can we do that? Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. And the second thing I want to just say before I get started is, let's just remember that God has also really been the one to keep this ministry going. And the fact that we're all here, that we can worship Christ, that we can talk about our convictions, that we can listen to amazing speakers. So let's just say thank you, Jesus, one more time. Can we do that? Amen. All right. So guys, I want to do a little show of hands. How many of you guys out here are fathers or grandfathers? All right, keep your hand up if you're concerned about the culture that your children and your grandchildren are growing up in. Right. Now, keep your hand up if you're just super excited about the latest Disney movie and what's going on social media and all the video games. Yeah, me too. Me too. And I'm also a father. I'm just like you guys. I've got a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And what God called me to do was to do something about it. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today. A lot of us men, you go to a job where, as a Christian, they discriminate against you for your beliefs. And you get on social media or you watch the news and you're told again, because of your beliefs, there's something wrong with you. And then you get home only to find your kids on a screen getting toxic content shoved in their face. You can't even watch the Olympics with your kids, right? So, I'm here today to tell you three things. The first is that unfortunately things are worse for kids than you probably have been told or you realize. What do I mean? Well, anxiety, suicide, and depression rates are all-time highs for kids. All-time highs. And don't believe that it's COVID, because that was 4 years ago. If you look at the charts, at the data, the rise of social media on smartphones exactly parallels the rise of suicide and depression rates for children in our country. Second, the average male in this country is exposed to pornography for the first time at 11. 6 years ago, when I first met Ken, when both of us got our callings, that was 13 years old. So it's gotten worse. It was 13, now it's 11, 6 years later, 11 years old. Now, the chart I'm showing is a really interesting chart. So it's got generations. There's a silent generation. There's boomers, a lot of boomers in the room. Gen X, I'm a Gen X, proud to say it. A lot of millennials here, okay. So if you look at boomers and Gen X, 62% of us in America believe in God. That's actually pretty good. For millennials, 46%. Okay, you guys got a little bit of work to do, but not bad. But for our kids, it's 32%. 32% of kids believe in God. Well, why is that? Is there some scientific discovery? Kids have realized that the rest of it is just, no, of course not. It's because they're on screens 50 hours a week, actually 52 and a half hours a week. They're at church 30 minutes a week. Because the average kid, you take a kid to church for an hour, and only 48% of Americans go to church anymore. And if you're not taking them to a church or teaching them in your house, where else are they getting God's truth, right? That's the problem. Now, what are they getting on screens? Well, Grand Theft Auto. When I was a teenager, Grand Theft Auto came out. You had to walk in a store with an ID to show that you're 18 to buy it. Now, don't worry, we have you covered. Just click the box to verify you're over 18. Got you covered. Now that drugs are legal in so many states and there's nothing wrong with it because it's legal, you can run your own marijuana empire on multiple games on the App Store. A lot of sexual content I don't even want to describe that frankly would have gotten an executive fired at a company for putting it in a game or a kid's cartoon 10 years ago, now is encouraged. Demonic content, hyper-violent content. And that's what they get exposed to across various media forms. And here's the other thing, and you probably know this, but the number one media form for kids is now games. In fact, some of the smartest investors in the world, venture capitalists in Silicon Valley, said games are the new social network for children. So for a lot of us, I grew up in the 80s. We grew up with movies, right? Star Wars, Superman. There you go. Come on. But as it's evolved now for children, it's games. And you know that. So here's the second piece of good news. There's hope. The TruPlay app is one app with a bunch of games in it. You download it, you have dozens and dozens of options. Really high quality games, videos, comics. And everything we do is grounded in God's truth. There's no ads, there's no chat rooms, there's no in-app purchases. We also have a partnership with the Action Bible as well as Kingstone Comics. We got some of their content in there too. Let me show you a little bit about what it looks like. So, as you can see, it's one app and you've got a myriad of things to choose from, right? Various different types of games, gameplay styles. We typically have kids between the ages of 5 to 12 play, but I'll say we've got a booth actually up on the concourse. We had a kid, I think he was 14, couldn't stop playing King David's Battles, and his dad had to pull him back in about 30 minutes later. We also have kids. We have some kids who are like 35, 40, 50 years old who like to play TruPlay as well. Jokes aside, it's something really fun you can do with your kids. I enjoy playing with my kids, although that's, I do eat my own cooking, so fine. But it is something I think, as a dad, you're looking for things. What can I do with my kid that I'm actually going to enjoy that's not going to ruin him, right? So let me show you a little bit about what our content looks like.
What's that over there? I got this.
Lord, I know you're with me. Help me be like you. Come on!
My father sent me to take food to my brothers, all soldiers in King Saul's army. But I knew God had called me to something bigger.
Dear Lord, need some help right now.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart.
It seems like these vines have minds of their own.
With God's help, I can be fearless.
Maybe. I think it's time for a hailstorm. Watch what these do.
Living in the garden was incredible.
I needed to build a boat to rescue my family and the animals on the earth.
God tells me to be strong and courageous.
You're taking that old thing with you?
I needed to find Chase.
He's with God.
I know. That's where I'm going.
Please, God, keep him safe.
Guys, we've got to stand up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me and my team over there. Can you guys raise your hands for a minute? We have a world-class team. If you guys ever used Amazon and they say split it into different packages, this part will get here faster. You guys remember that feature on Amazon? If you want to meet the guy who designed it, raise your hand for a minute. You can come talk to him today if you want to. If you guys want to nerd out on tech stuff. We've got a tremendous team of story writers, game makers, artists, marketers, and I just feel so blessed to be able to lead this company. But I want you guys to know something, and you guys know this, you've been hearing it the whole conference. We have to stand up and fight for our children. God's called us to be men. He's called us to lead. He called us to be fathers. God the Father is the head of the Godhead, right? The fatherhood title is a sacred title that we're bestowed upon us. And we've got to take that seriously. You guys ever heard of the 4 to 14 window? What it is that about 2/3 of people who make a decision for Christ make a decision between the ages of 4 and 14 years old. You got to catch them early. Now, you may be thinking, okay, it looks really great, but how do I really know that it's Christian? How do I really know what you guys are teaching? Well, there's a few people that you probably know or know of. You can see what they have to say.
Imagine video games that combine high-quality graphics, family fun, and teaching the Word of God. The world needs a whole lot more of that, and his company, TruPlay, is giving it to us.
Only 32% of kids in America believe in God. Can you believe that? 32%.
A recent survey revealing just 32% of our nation's children believe in God. Man, that's a staggeringly low number. And now a new Christian entertainment and gaming platform is hoping to change that. TruPlay invites children to engage in their faith and the Bible while playing online.
Our whole goal, the reason we're really motivated to do this is, if only 32% of the youngest generation believes in God, well, what if that changed? What if that goes from 30 to 40 to 50 to over half? You could see not only a generation, but our country, and maybe the whole world would change if people believed in Jesus and knew God's truth, because it would bring back hope into their lives.
How can people, I love it. Absolutely fantastic.
I don't know if you know exactly what I've been talking about for the last 2.5 decades, but I'm so thankful you exist. You are the solution to the problems I've been addressing around this globe forever.
Here is the best part about this app. It is Christian and it is full of the Bible. It has stories about Jesus. It has scriptures. It is full of biblical teachings worked into every game, every story, every video. It's incredible.
Now, there's an opportunity to harness advancements in the gaming industry for good. We don't have to compromise in quality, fun, or imagination to enjoy the world of digital entertainment. We just have to choose our sources wisely. TruPlay Games agrees, and they are leading the way.
You're taking a venue, a culture that's already happening, and you're infusing the kingdom in it and teach them about spiritual warfare, identity, core values, how to prosper, work ethics, good character. All these things can be taught through video games.
Kevin Sobel here. Now listen, the internet is the Wild West for kids. So are you looking for a fun and safe app for your kids to play games? TruPlay has the app for you.
Of course I endorse it, and of course it shines the light of Christ. But it has the power of engaging gamers and the next generation for that matter.
board members, including the late Jack Hayford, who passed away a year ago. He was a tremendous friend to me, and we probably wouldn't have TruPlay if it weren't for me. He was a great man, and God rest his soul. So you're probably thinking, okay, it's Christian, it looks good, but I can't make my kids play it. They're into Minecraft and Roblox and Fortnite and whatever. Okay, well, here's the good news. You don't have to make your kids play it. They will love it. How do I know? Well, this is facts, this is data. So if you give a kid TruPlay, or you give a kid Minecraft or Roblox, they're twice as likely to come back to TruPlay as they are to Minecraft or Roblox a week later or a month later. Actual facts. You might ask why. Well, one, to God be the glory. Two, it's built with quality, and we have world-class game designers who really focus on making the games fun, and great engineers who focus on making sure it actually works, and great artists who make sure it's beautiful, and storytellers. The way we try to tell stories is something that you can relate to and connect with. And frankly, we try to write stories in a way that kids will connect with it, but that even as a parent or an adult, you'll enjoy it as well. Now, there's data, and then there's actually people's testimony. So here's what kids and parents are saying about it.
Our 6-year-old is super scared of the dark. And last night I heard him yell, "God tells me to be strong and courageous." Turns out he picked this up from a brave, funny character in TruPlay games. Pro parenting tip, get TruPlay games for your kids. You won't regret it.
What do I think? Oh, I think it's amazing. So excited to have something like this for my kids because it's safe and they're learning about God and they're having fun. I won!
Hey Beverly, who's your favorite TruPlay Games character?
It's the Tiger Bunny.
The Tiger Bunny Maple?
Yes.
Do you love TruPlay Games?
Yes.
What's your favorite part?
Finding the bad ones. So I was playing Little Light, and then right after the little letter, the paper, Louie said God will always have time for us, just that little speech bubble, and it made me cry and happy.
Hey Zeb, how does playing TruPlay make you feel?
It makes me feel happy. I want more of it. I want to increase my skills and to learn more about God when I play it.
So guys, this is where we are today. But God didn't call us to see our children go into a cliff dive. He called us to see it turn into an upward trajectory. What if we could see the youngest generation go from 30 to 40 to 50 to over half of them believing in Jesus Christ, living out the truth of the Bible? You'd see a whole generation change. You'd see a nation change. You'd see the world change. And that's why we're here. I'm going to ask you guys, if you would, hold up your phones. Would you take a minute? You can scan the QR code. If you just take a second to do that for us, check it out. We have a special promo with PK, 20% off. By the way, I've been asked this question a few times. When you subscribe, it's like Netflix, so we have new content out all the time. In fact, the skunk with the crocodile robot suit, we have a game coming out about his whole story. He's a young boy whose brother died a year ago. He's on the autism spectrum. He tries to find out what happened to his brother. He doesn't believe in God, but he finds out who God is in his journey. That game comes out this month. We have new games, new content all the time. So we're always adding new things and making the product better for you. And you get multiple accounts. So if you've got multiple kids, like most of us do, each of them can have their own profiles. They can have their own preferences, their own games. Use somebody's coins or their level or whatever. And again, it's one purchase, one subscription, no in-app purchases, no ads, anything like that. So got a special promo with Promise Keepers right now for this weekend for our partners for 20% off. Really appreciate you guys being part of this. Hit the QR code and feel free to come see us at the booth. Thank you guys. God bless you.
We'll be taking a 10-minute break.